complex triangles. And then 25% for consolidation, another 25% for 20% for financial ratio analysis and related communication. So I'm trying to complete this quickly. Last one. That's about analysis, interpretation, communication, financial results. This area, you know, very familiar definition, right? These are the tasks we discuss under financial accounting. Financial accounting, right? Financial accounting, there was a definition. There was a definition. The related information about transactions, we need to collect, summarize, analyze, interpretation, and communication of financial results, the financial accounting. So then, firstly, we are supposed to learn the latter part of the financial accounting. This is the third area. Once you are having financial results, whatever the individual or consolidated result, what we have to do, we need to convert that to information to take decisions, right? That's called analysis, interpretation, communication of financial results. That is the third part. Under that, what we are discussing, we are calculating financial ratios, different techniques of analysis, like a trend analysis, common size financial statement analysis, ratio analysis, correlation analysis. Different analytics will be used under this. Right? So then, after completing this, I will give the group assignment under this topic. So what we have to do is, now you can get ready for that. You have to select the industry and you have to do a proper analysis about the industry by using financial ratios, trend analysis, whatever the analysis. You need to present that to the audience about last 2 years results, right? So then you need to calculate relevant ratios. You can't depend on the ratios we learned in the classroom. So the industry-wise ratios may be different. So the ratios for insurance industry may differ with the banking industry, may differ with the other industries, right? So then you select what are the critical ratios for particular industry to take. Insurance industry, claim ratio, combined ratio, and then whatever the other ratios like GWP ratios, claim ratios, combined ratio. In a hotel industry, occupancy ratio. In banking sector, non-performing ratios, right? Solvency ratios are very critical. So then you need to calculate that and you need to evaluate that in the group assignment. Keep in mind the area you need to focus for the group assignment. Then once you are presenting, I need that improvement I suggested in the audit classroom. I hope that you improved, you have learned something from that exercise. I have given individual comments to each and everyone. I want to see that progression once you are doing your presentation, right? That's a request. That's a kind request I want to you. Then only I can satisfy. I want to see that progression. And then I'm coming to the consolidation. Consolidation, always we are discussing about very difficult subject, right? It's a difficult area. Each and every day we are learning consolidation. Anyhow, end of the day, we don't know about the consolidation. But after this discussion, after this series of lectures, you should know What about consolidation? Why we are doing that? How we are going to do in a different situation? Whatever the situation, whatever the opportunity you are having to read consolidation, to do the consolidation, you should be able to do that. So the holding for narrative consolidation is going to that itu gana hadano ekche වාඩි වෙලා බලන් ඉන්න ekche එකක් නෙමෙයි. අර A level students ලා දඬ level තුනේ. A level ස්ථාන ගණන් හැදෙන්නේ. A level එකට ගණන් හදන්න පුරුදු වෙන පෑන් දෙකක් තුනක් අරගෙන එන්න ඕනේ corporate reporting. Audit වගේ නේ. ඒ පෑන් ඉවර වෙන්න ගණන් දෙනවා. Console හදනකොට you have to be in the lecture room. Not like auditing, not like other subjects. You have to focus. If you are missing first 2 lectures of the consolidation, then rest of the 4-5 lectures will be blank. Right? So the once you are starting consolidation, you have to be in the class in hybrid approach, mentally and physically. අර මේ පැත්ත බලන් ඉන්නව මුකුත් ඇහෙන්නේ නැති approach එක හරියන්නේ නැහැ consolidation. අහන් බලන් ඉන්නවා වගේම අහන් ඉන්නත් ඕන. අහන් ඉන්නවා වගේම ඒ අහන බලන දේ mind එකට link වෙන්න ඕන. නැත්නම් what තේරෙන්නේ we have discussed that. We had a kind of a yoga session or bhavana session in the classroom. At that time we discussed how we can link these pictures, sounds and different inputs to the mind. So that you are lacking it, then linkage with the mind and these outputs, right? You need to continuous link. ඒක තමයි කරගන්න බෑ. ඒකවට ඇහෙන්නේ නැහැ. මටත් එහෙමද කියන්නේ. ඒක mental situation එකක් නෙවෙයි. So that's the human behavior. Once you are in a place, your mental situation, mental stability may be different to each other. So then you need to have kind of a fixed link between the outcome in the sense, whatever the sounds, whatever the picture you are seeing, you need to concentrate, especially for consolidation. From there, there are no evaluations, there are no control. You need to clarify that it should be saved in your permanent memory. So that's a requirement, that's a kind request, because this is the core subject. If you are getting fail, if you are not getting this subject, you will blame that will blame to me and you. So you don't know about corporate reporting. So then what you have to do is by heart we need to do this, right? Okay, so then we don't have much time to discuss here and there. We have very tight syllabus. We need to complete more than the given syllabus. That's my approach. Once you are discussing SLFRS, right, I need to discuss hedging, everything, options, everything. Right? So then I can't just touch. So then to that, you need to help. So then I'll show you all this previous latest paper. Recently, I didn't do actually corporate reporting. 15 AOB batch, I completed corporate reporting. Just after that, I didn't do corporate reporting last 6-7 months. Anyhow, I will show that the latest paper. That's good to go with the auditing. I gave that audit knowledge and then corporate reporting may be good. So after this, I want to be happy by seeing your profession. So this is the paper structure. We need to ready for this type of paper. Just 15 AD weekend. 100 marks given. Same way, like what is the subject? We have 10 questions relating to each and every standard. So then to address this, you have to be an expert in this each and every standard. Like you can see, 34, 13, 13 again, 41, 13, 21, 9, 27, 9, 20. Different standards, small things, definition, measurement basis, approaches, all those things you have to be not a kind of a parent, not a kind of a person who are memorizing all those things for exams. By heart, you should learn this. Right? You need to allocate at least 3-4 days for one standard to understand the basis. Why we are using this? What is the role behind this as a counter? That's a requirement, right? So after getting that, definitely you can address this section. It may be not easy. Maybe not easy. What is the meaning of separate financial statements? Separate financial statements. Previously, we know that financial statement. Here we are learning what do you mean by separate financial statement? 30, 27. Consolidated financial statement, separate financial statement. What are the criteria that should be evaluated for hedge effectiveness as listed in 9? So you should know what is a hedge instrument, hedge item. Then we are supposed to learn about hedge effectiveness. How we are going to measure it. So it may be difficult. Right? How we are going to report this hedge effectiveness. To learn the hedging also be difficult. We don't know. I also don't have that the hands-on practical experience auditing and the hedging. I also have theoretical knowledge. Our head transaction so then I also giving theoretical knowledge. But I am expert on that in theory. But you have to do right. If you are going to other country, they may have many hedging transactions. Right? Yeah, that may be kind of a different hedging instrument. It may be forward contract, it may be kind of a this kind of option or cash flow hedge. Different hedging instruments are there. SAP agreements, interest rate SAP. So different hedging instruments are there. So you should learn that different approaches. How we are going to do financial reporting over hedging. Right? And then government grants. So then, question number 2 is the difficult part. That's about consolidation. Consolidation, I'm expecting a kind of a pure knowledge, right? So the discussion, you can see there's a consolidation with a foreign subsidiary. So these are from dollars These are from LTR. You need to convert that and acquisition date. You need to calculate goodwill and you need to do the sale. So then once you are having a all this foreign currency, you should know that foreign currency conversion as well against 21. Effect from foreign exchange transaction difference. So then here we have given the exchange rate as well. You need to understand what is the exchange rate you have to use for this, right? It was given, assume that the closing rate is Rs 300 for $1 as of December 31st, and average spot rate 310 for $1 at the year end 2023. So you should have understand once you are converting a balance sheet and a P&L, what's the exact rate you have to use with the logic, right? That's all about again 21, right? So then with this, we have a set of adjustments. Right? To resolve this, you have to practice. You have to be in the class by heart. Make sure that your attendance for the class is compulsory. Not for the attendance mark sheet. ඒක නෑ මෙතන. ඒක නම් ඔයාලට දෙන්නම්. පොර සයින් ගහන්න පුළුවන්, මොන වෙලාවක ඉන්න පුළුවන් යන්න පුළුවන්. ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. හැබැයි ඕවරේජ් රිපෝටින් ඉතින් නැත්නම් ගන්න තමයි. බෝධි පූජා කරලා හොඳට මේකට ගන්න. ඔබ මේ හරියට පේන්නේ නැහැ. Gallery එක පොලිසිය ඕන දේ වෙන්න ඕන. This is like a stage drama or kind of a live musical show. It's not a film. Stage drama, musical show. Make it console counting standard. Bible එක කවදාවත් ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න. අමලන්නේ දෙයක් කරුවා ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න. But why? ඉස්සරහ පුළුවන් නම් පැදුරක් දාගෙන හරි වාසියට පුළුවන් වෙන්න. That's really good, right? Okay. So then I need to show that. Otherwise, if you are not showing this gravity and complexity, you will surprise at the exam, right? Today onwards, you need to prepare for this. Consolidation, accounting standards. You should have a proper plan to address this subject. Overnight, we can't do this, right? And then, this is the requirement. Prepare consolidated statement of financial position as of this date. And then, this is kind of a management of Jupiter PLC inside to purchase 30% stake of Neptune, like again acquisition of associate, purchasing of associate. So then you need to discuss about the related accounting treatment, and then what are the required disclosures related to subsidiary investment in the consolidated financial statement of Jupiter Group. So there are different questions, and then here we have kind of a financial ratio analysis question that may be pretty straightforward, but it will take some time because you have to analyze and you need to write a report, right? Then again, we have some other questions, small questions under section B. Under section B, we have question given 15 marks that may be related to earning per share, agricultural assets, right? That may be related to this one, financial instrument valuation, syllabus 13, and then agricultural standard, case 41, right? This is related to segmental information, identification of reportable segment. In a company, we are having different segments, operating segments. Right? As an accountant, we should have ability to identify reportable segment. What are the segments we need to report in the financial statement? People in a company, we are having different segments. You may have cosmetics related manufacturing company. You are having shampoo and soap and conditioner and some other hair cream and hair dye, hair related different cosmetic items may be there. So then you should have ability how we are going to merge this segment and what are the reportable segment, how we are going to identify for decision makers purpose. Right? So then that is the learning part you should have. Accordingly, we have given different segments. Here we have, right? Bath preparation, hair preparation, makeup preparation, different segments. So then, how we are going to identify what reportable segment is a tricky point. We are having operating segment, but reportable segment may be differs with the operating segment. Why we should use this segment? Learn කරන්න කලින් segment ඉගෙන ගන්න තව lectures 8කට 10කට විතර පස්සේ. Why we need to identify segments? නන්නකට කියන්න. නන්න මුන් සේරම තියෙන. Yes, why we need to worry about the segment of information? Why? In a company, we may have different segments. As a stakeholder, we should know the performance of different segments. Why? We need to take decisions for respective segments, each and every segment, because we may have loss-making segments that may be tied to other profit-making segments. We are keeping this loss-making segment up until creating a huge loss. We need to take immediate decisions. For that, we need to see the individual performance of particular different segments. That's why we need to publish our segmental information. We need to identify those making products. That is the core understanding you should have. So then as an accountant, you are having a responsibility to say that to the finance division, here we have set of operating segment, but we need to report this segment as the reportable segment. That's the art of accounting. So then we have quantitative threshold, 10% free rules with 75% rule to learn that, right? Accordingly, you can answer this question. Don't worry, I will teach you everything, right, in and out. So that's the structure of the paper. Any question? Any doubts? මටත් අමාරුයි පේපර් එක තුනේ දාන්න. ඇදුවට ඒ හදන්න පුළුවන් පැයක් අමාරුයි. ඒක කරන්න ඕන මටත්. ආන්සර් ස්ක්‍රිප්ට් එක හදන්න පුළුවන් පැය 12ක් කරන්න. But hard for this subject. Now better කරන්න ready වෙන්න. මුන්දවස් ඉඳලම අටයක් එක discuss කරන්න. If you are doing that way, really easy to get a pass. Here, like auditing and reading questions, there's a gray answer, right? But black and white gray answer. So after having this made the result. The opinion can be qualified or modified or, and then adverse. Based on the scenario, right? You can give different answers according to your judgment. Here we don't have any judgment, right? So then, straightforward, black and white answers. Write a maths paper. So then, it's very easy to score marks if you know the subject. If you don't know the subject, it's very difficult to answer. So then, you have to be very sharp. Right? Okay. Can statement start the journey? I'm not going to start consolidation today. We'll start from a simple standard. But we can start. Can start with learning per share or agricultural standard. Let me start with agricultural standard. Standards under area number 1. Now we are discussing here LKS 41 agriculture. LKS 41 agriculture. So these are the standards we have to complete. Government grants, LKS 21 as I discussed. Effects of changes in foreign currency exchange rates. Right? Separate financial statements, earning per share, separate financial reporting, agriculture, financial instruments, operating segments, fair value measurement, right? These are the set of standards we need to cover in the classroom. For the technical standard data exchange for us, so then this is the area number 1. Area number 2, that's all about consolidation. It will take more than 5 lectures to complete. Step acquisition, associate, joint venture, goodwill calculation, the evaluation of acquisition transaction, right schedule, and then we need to complete financial reporting aspect, calculation of ratios, communication, right? That's number 2. Download. So that we don't have logging in the LMS. I supposed to upload that, still not have that login. Then maybe we created this week. I can upload all the standard and everything. I can download it. For the time being, I can share that to the group, right? I should create a group, right? Most of that you can note to the group, so then you can refer that. So in case 41, so the last LKS. After 41, we don't have LKS 42, IS 42. This is the last standard. Am I right? Yes. So then, what do you mean by LKS and IFRS? LKS and IFRS? LKS and SLFRS. What is the difference? You may know that. So then going forward, we are having SLFRS, right? SLFRS 70, 80, maybe implemented recently. In the case we have, SLFRS we have, LKS 41 is the last one. We have series 1, 2, 7, 9, 16, 7 standards. The ending is 41, the last standard. So after that, we are having SLFRS. But the difference yes, correct. After 2012, we are having SLFRS. The change in the governing body. Previously, we had Global Accounting Standard Committee. After that, the International Accounting Standard Monitoring Board. Now we are having Global Body International Accounting Standard Board. Previously, we had a committee. The committee issued LPS, IAS, board issuing IFRS. Only the change in the regulator, the governing body, they changed the series of the standard. That change. So then it's better to know that, right? Two things. Next standard. And like no. But we get IFRS, we have IFRS and IAS. What's the difference? Why we are having two sets? Just as a person who are looking for accounting degree, these are the general things you should know. So after having International Accounting Board, we are having IFRS. Going forward, we will get many IFRSs. 17 is supposed to be implemented in 2026. 17 can come up. 17 can come up. That's all about insurance contract. Insurance contract. That's the most difficult complex standard. Really difficult. Why? Because we don't understand it. Why it's so difficult? Up until SLFRS 17, all insurance companies, if they are doing predominantly insurance business, they are waiting to implement SLFRS 9 as well. Still, they are using LKS 39, 7, and 32 previous standards. Till SLFRS 17, they are waiting to implement SLFRS 9 as well, financial instrument. What's the reason? The reason? So in an insurance contract, we may have different performance obligations. Different performance obligations. Their performance obligations. Syllabus 50 talks about what? Performance obligation, revenue with customers, fulfillment of performance obligation. We are discussing this in class. So at the point of once you are completing your performance obligation, you need to recognize revenue according to the transaction price. Your transaction price should be split according to the performance obligation. Simple performance obligation. You have paid to sell campus. They have a performance obligation to the degree. They are delivering their service throughout kind of 3 years or 4 years period. So that's the fulfillment of the performance obligation. Some of the contract at once you can fulfill, but some of the service contracts, some of other contracts, it will take some time. දැන් ඔයා rent එකට ගියක් ගත්තම අදම වැඩ ඉවර කරන්න පුළුවන් දැන් rent එකට period එකක් දෙන්න ඕන නේද? Is that correct? So if you are purchasing something from McDonald's නෑනේ. ඒකනේ ඒව තමයි මොනවද? මම කියලා දැන් developing country එක ලක්ෂණය මොකක්ද? So what are the identified features of a developing country like that? Downward country. Here situation again, proper countries indications. So you can say that we are losing McDonald's, we are losing PwC here, right? So then if someone comments, ask where are your big four? We don't have big four now, only big three here. I'm going to taste Sri Lankan mac rice. We don't have McDonald's here, right? So then those are the indication of a poor country, right? Poor country in the sense the decline trend is there. Then anyhow we'll see kind of a positivity. Those are not a good indications, right? We are discussing about this contractual obligation. The obligation we have in insurance contract, we may have different performance obligations. It's a sheet that I did. Class method presentation ගන්නත් ගොඩක් good තියෙනවා. series එකක් ගන්න. උඹලාගේ දුක අදන්නේ. Okay, so we are discussing what about SLFRS 17? How is that so complex? Right? Here we are discussing about performance obligation. Once you are having kind of a contract with the customer, sign interval sign on right. Performance obligation. We have a commitment to deliver some service or goods. If it is a KFC or Pizza Hut, we are supposed to deliver a product. You are supposed to deliver a product. At that point, at the cashier, you are delivering the product, the commitment is completed. So then at that point, you can recognize the revenue. Very simple, right? If it is a service contract, like we are giving kind of apartment for 1 month, so then it may be kind of a hotel service. We are giving full night, like a 7-day package to a kind of a foreigner. That service will spread within 7 days. So it's a period, right? Period. So then your service may be depend on a kind of a series of action. It may be accommodation, foods, beverage, safety, everything. That's in the hospitality industry. If it is in a hospital industry, it may be operation, it may be kind of a treatment, it may be kind of a different testings, different services are there in the hospital industry. So then after completing all these commitments, you are having a price. At the front, you can measure that price. According to that price, according to your performance, obligation performance, you need to identify your revenue. That's the basic approach we are following under SNFRS, IFRS 15. That is called 5-step model, right? Likewise, once you are coming to SNFRS 17, then again we are discussing about this type of a thing. Okay. So in an insurance contract, we are having different types of commitments. What are these commitments? We are having financial instrument type of commitment. As example, like life insurance. We are putting money in the life insurance. End of the tenure, and for 15, 10 years, you are getting some bulk amount of money, right? Lump sum money. Kind of a fixed deposit. Or fixed deposit is Salidana again with if you are putting money in a insurance product, you are getting a bulk amount at the end of the period. Are you okay? So then fixed deposit is a financial instrument. Financial instrument. You are putting money. End of the day, you are getting interest according to the effective interest rate. And after the fixed deposit period, after the tenor, you are getting the lump sum amount of money. That's a financial instrument. Financial instrument we have to treat according to SNFRS 9. SNFRS 9. So then one part, SNFRS 9. And then again, we have a insurance risk. We are giving kind of a commitment to giving insurance service. Insurance service means if there's a kind of a disability or death or permanent disability, or if we are losing right hand, left hand, right eye, left eye, we are giving kind of a money. It is called insurance risk. For insurance risk. For insurance, there are no risk here. According to Insurance Act, what are the risks we can insure? Risk. And auditing, we are expert about risk. We mean by that expectation from the deviation from the expectation. So whatever the deviation, can you insure? Can't. Whatever the deviation, you can't insure. So the ones you are going for exam, the probability of getting low marks or getting failed, can you insure? Can't do that. So then according to insurance, we are having some of the areas can be taken as an insurance product. Once you're developing insurance product, we need to get approval from the insurance regulator. So the insurance regulator will look after that. What are the risks you can insure? What pregnancy insurance කරන්න පුළුවන්? කියන්නේ pregnant වෙනවා කියන insurance කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකෙන් වෙන කියන්නේ delivery එක ඒකට කරන්න වෙන cost එක insurance කරන්න පුළුවන්. Can't do that. You can't do that. It's a not a uncertainty, right? It's a certain event. Certain event you have insurance. So insurance is a different subject. So the insurance risk is a different subject. Accordingly, insurance revenue can be determined in a different way, right? So then for understand insurance revenue, you need to calculate contractual service margin, BSAA. That's a different concept. Calculating contractual service margin. So then that's all about insurance risk. The calculation of insurance service margin. Insurance service margin will be discussed under SLFRS 15. Right? And then again, under insurance contract, we have some hospital covers, health covers, maybe there. This type of a contractual obligation. Then again, it's a SLFRS 15. So you can imagine, in a one contract, there are separate performance obligations, 1, 2, 3. Separate performance obligation, we need to treat by using 3 different standards. Right? 3 different standards. So then one contract should be split for 3 different standards. The commitment wise, premium wise, we need to split this premium amount for 3 different standards, for 3 different accounting treatments. It is called product classification, product identification. After identifying this classification, you need to use 3 different standards and you need to follow, you need to account for insurance contracts. That's why we are telling that it's so complex. Because of that, globally it was implemented, but still we are waiting to implement in 2026. Right? 2026 we are planning to implement that because of the complexity. Our systems are not supporting to do these calculations yet. We are yet to invest. Because of that, we are delaying to implement that. That's the reason. That's the exact reason. We are not that much advanced. We don't have money to invest over there for that type of granular level information. Right? So then that complexities are there. That's about level 17. And 18 also we can use in near future. Likewise, you may have series of SLFRS in future. So that whatever the standards coming in, will add under SLFRS, IFRS, right? Keep in mind. So then here we are discussing about the last standard under International Accounting Committee, that was agriculture 41. Right? It's about agriculture. It will cover this area. Typically, biological assets, agricultural produce, the agricultural related government grants. Okay. Biological assets, the living plant or animal. Agricultural produce at the point of harvest, the harvested product of the entity's biological asset. And conditional and unconditional government grants relates to agricultural activity. These are the 3 things we are going to learn in biological assets. That's why I selected the standard first. This is very practical subject, practical standard, but it's easily there. If I started earning per share, that may be a bit complex. We'll do that secondly. Let's complete this quickly. Right. biological asset. Living plant and animal. Living plant and animal. We want to account for living plant and animal. Can easily use this standard, but not only for all the living plant and animal. Right? It should be an asset. You have to control that asset. Otherwise, it's not an asset for you. That's the basic understanding issue. What do you mean by that? Living plant and animal which was controlled by your entity is a biological asset. Biological asset is a living plant and animal. We have a definition here. Right. Biological asset is a living animal or plant. Process growing of their plant is a biological asset. So under asset, you have conditions, you have criteria, right? What are the basic criteria of asset? You know, right? As a result of past event, we are controlling a resource with the expectation of future economic benefits. This economic benefit can be measured by using monetary terms. That's basically asset. So then you have different asset categories. PP&E, investment property, different assets. Likewise, biological asset is another asset which should be controlled by the entity. Living plant to animals. එතකොට වාගේ balance sheet එකේ වෙනතන මොනවද තිබුණේ? Building, desk තිබුණා, furniture fittings තිබුණා නේද? දැන් ඉන්නේ මොකද? Something. Just the balance sheet එක. So in a plantation company like let's say tea plantation company or tea plantation company. So as at the reporting day, they should have a set of trees in the balance sheet. Or trees in the last right? So then we need to measure that, we need to convert that to numbers that we need to show in the balance sheet. So then this is that and discuss about how we are going to. So basically we are discussing about living plant and animal. So then here we have a question. All the living plants and animals, can we consider that as a biological asset? So then here we have, let's say, you know that parahan is elephant. It's a parahan thing. An elephant can be considered as a biological asset. An elephant can be considered as a biological asset. And then we are having kind of a sea area allocated to Sri Lanka, right? So in that sea area, so we are having fish. So the quantity of fish in that sea area can be considered as a biological asset. In our garden, without our intention, there may be different trees. It may be jack tree, it may be coconut tree. Different trees may be there. It may be a mango tree. So then without our intention, there are different trees in our garden. That's a companion. Can we capitalize those trees as biological assets? So those are the questions. Then අපේ companion තියෙනවා ලොකු තේන්ත ගහක් හැදෙනවා. Companion වඩා තේන්ත ගහ වටිනවා. So then can we capitalize that as a biological asset? So those are the questions we have under this standard. It was then as at the reporting date. අඹ ගහ තියෙනවා, ගහ යට ගෙඩි තියෙනවා, ගහ උඩ මල් තියෙනවා, මල් කොහොමද පුක්ෂල පෙන්නන්නේ නේද? So then we have some of the trees we don't have any harvest. We don't have fruits. Some of the trees they're having flowers and the small harvest items. And some of the plants they are ready to harvest. Then some of the trees they are having harvest, not ready to harvest, but it will take some time. Now we are at the reporting date. How we are going to report all those things? Can we consider this unharvested fruits as a agricultural produce? Those are the questions they need to answer. After having understanding about the technical aspects, you should have proper understanding about agricultural assets, in other words, biological assets containing living animal and living plant, plus agricultural produce. You need to identify what you mean by biological asset and the agricultural produce. Biological asset always produce agricultural produce. The outcome we are getting from the biological asset we consider as agricultural produce. Well, from a mango tree, scholarship exam. From a mango tree, we are getting mango. Mango tree is a biological asset. Mango is the agricultural produce. Cow is the agricultural biological asset. Milk is the agricultural produce. Cow is a living animal. Living animal and a plant. So likewise, you can decide what's the agricultural biological asset and agricultural produce. If I am asking in the exam, please identify the separately you should identify agricultural asset and the biological agricultural produce. You should be able to identify biological asset separately and the agricultural produce. Right. I'm going back. Scope in, scope out. Really important. Biological asset, living plant or animal, except to bear plants. It's really important. You have to put a mark here. මෙතන තරුවක් දාගන්න ඕන තැන. තරුව දාගන්නකොට මතක තියාගන්න ඒ තරුව දාන්න කියලා නැත්නම් නොදායි. So then biological asset, a living plant or animal expects to bear a plant. Bear plants we consider as a property plant and equipment. Right? We treat by using LKS 16. That's a PPNE. Bear a plant. Bear a plant. What do you mean by bear a plant? Bear animal. Bear a plant. So biological asset, we have two parts, living plant and animal. Living plant and animal. So the living plant and animal, let's have this. In case 41, biological asset. Biological assets, you can divide it into living animal and living plant. Living animal and living plant. Anyone who are joining virtually? whether they can see the board. Biological asset, living animal and living plant. Living animal can be divided into living animal, bare animal, and consumable animal. Living plant, bare plant, and consumable plant. They have already discussed about it last. So then, living animal, consumable animal, and the bare animal. Bare plant is the area we can consider in case 16. Bare plant, this is the area we have highlighted here, except for bare plants. So then you are going to study what do you mean by a bare plant. Bare plant and a consumable plant. It's a plant we are getting harvest more than 1 year period. In the long time purpose, we are having long-term perspective. We are keeping a plant, we are getting harvest more than 1 year period. It's considered as a bare plant. So after that useful lifetime, that structure, the residual amount, residual items of that plant can be used for different purpose, not the core purpose. There are now. What's the purpose? Getting cash flows, right? Each and every year we have the term. According to that term, you are getting cash flows. That's the perspective. That's the objective. But end of the day, if end of the lifetime of the mango tree එක අඹ වෙනකොට පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. mango tree එක කන්න බෑනේ අඹ විදියට නේද? බෑනේ. හැබැයි වාට මේ other trees you can eat, right? Banana tree. So then you can eat banana. And the tree, the trunk of this banana tree, you can eat. After removing this 2-3 covers, the middle of the part, you can eat. Right? But can you eat banana? Mango tree? I don't know about mango leaves. Mango tree you can't eat, right? So then, what I want to highlight is your core perspective of the tree to getting mango for long run. At the end of the day, you are selling that structure or residual value for different perspectives, maybe firewood, right? So then that type of agricultural asset, agricultural plant, we consider as a bare plant, right? Long-term perspective, we are keeping that plant. That is called a bare plant. What do you mean by consumable plant? Short-term purpose, we are keeping that plant. Purely the difference between mango tree and a banana tree. I asked this question several times from you all. I don't think the medicine. Ambagahakai, Isagahakai medicine. No. Make Amba had it, make it. Make it harmful, apodi. Ambagahi, Mulin, baby, please send it. Then, teacher can explain 40-42 plants are. So those are the difference we have to mention in the scholarship exam. But in the SAT campus exam for the degree, you can't mention those differences. What I would mention is, so the mango tree is a bare plant we are expecting harvest for long run. We are keeping that plant for long-term perspective, right? Because of that, this is a bare plant. We need to treat according to LA60 under plant and treatment. So if it is a mango tree, sorry, banana tree, it's a short-term perspective. We need to use LKS 41 for financial reporting. Consumable plant, LKS 41. So whatever the living animal, with bare animal or consumable animal is LKS 41. LKS 41. And then agricultural produce, whatever the item used, LKS 41. Agricultural produce. Here I am discussing just the definition here, right? Just the definition. Just the definition. That's why we are going to extend this. I explained here the star point we put here for the bracket, except for bare plants. Except for bare plants. So that's a scope in agricultural produce at the point of harvest, the harvested product of the entity's biological asset. Agricultural produce. Agricultural produce at the point of harvest. Harvested product. After transporting, after moving that agricultural product to the manufacturing company, it is inventory, right? Are you okay? So then if you are having a mango tree will be treated as LK 16, right? Harvested mango will be treated as LK 41. After transporting harvested mango to the jam manufacturing company, that will consider as LKS 2 inventory. So inventory may be materials for jam manufacturing. So then three different standards or three different conditions of the asset. Keep in mind, as an accountant, you need to decide what's the exact standard you have to use in different situations. That's your perspective. Otherwise, you are having robots and then systems to double entries. The application of the standard is the critical aspect. You should take that decision. What's the exact standard you follow? Conditional and unconditional government grants related to agricultural activity. Agricultural activity. You may have different activities. Agricultural activity, harvesting, fertilizing, and breeding, different activities. In an agricultural sector, what are the tasks you are doing? It's considered as agricultural activity. As a farmer, what you are going to do? You need to prepare the ground, and then firstly you need to remove all the other trees, and you need to put some fertilizer, and you need to prepare that ground for cultivation. That is called agricultural activity. So then you need to spread seeds, and you need to put some other chemicals. All those things we consider as agricultural activity. So if you are having kind of a let's say pet shop, pet shop, you are having dogs for the expectation of getting baby dogs. Right? So then these dogs, parent dogs, we consider as they are animals. They are animals. For long run, we are keeping these parent birds for breeding purpose. To getting small ones, we are keeping this animal, right? This animal should be treated as they are animal. So then the vaccine and giving kind of treatments and all those things we can consider as agricultural activities. Right? Agricultural activities. The activities taken by the management to control the biological asset we can consider as agricultural activity. Right? Agricultural activity. So conditional and unconditional government grant relates to agricultural activity. Conditional and unconditional government grants. Government, what do you mean by that? Government කියන්නේ government කියවම නරක රූපයක් එන්නේ නෑ අපිට. That is not the exact picture and the definition you should create. So under case 20, government grant, we are discussing what's the definition for government. Maybe the government-related entity, foreign entity, foreign kind of a NGO type of entity, different authority organization, right? We consider as a government. So a party who are giving kind of a donation or support to some other business entities, we can consider as a government. So in the agricultural sector, some government-related entities, some NGOs or foreign entities may give supports, financial supports. Those financial supports, financial donations, we can consider as government grants. Right? Government grants. Once you are having a government grants, what you have to do? So we are having set of conditions to why they are giving set of government grants. What the reason? What is at least? So they are government side, they are having perspectives, objectives to fulfill. So they are focusing some sectors, let's say steel manufacturing sector or different sectors. So they are focused to expand steel manufacturing sector. So then they are giving set of targets. You have to fulfill this much of targets. You have to at least give minimum 200 employee opportunities. That may be a kind of a condition. To expand such kind of conditions, they are giving grants. So other than agriculture sector, let's say they are planning to expand hotel sector. Hotel sector, they are having small players in the market, entrepreneurs. What they are doing is they are taking that as SMEs, special business entities or small medium entities. What they are giving is they are giving interest-free loan to them. Interest-free loan. That free amount we can consider as a grant given by the government to that entity. As a benefit, financial benefit that should be accounted for the financial reporting aspect we need to account. So then that type of a benefit which is received from government or government-related entity you can consider as a government grant. This topic will be covered under case 20. In detail, we can discuss about government grant and government assistance. And two words, keep in mind. What are the two words? It may be government grant or it may be government assistance. The assistance and the grant here. There is පාරේ කාණු දාලා තියෙනවා. පාර Pakistan අපි. So the පාර දාන්නේ කවුද? Government. Government giving kind of infrastructure facility, sanitary facility. All those structure will be maintained by the government. Right? So then those things can be considered as government grant, but it's creating a benefit to the family. And then again, specific assistance will be given to particular sector. Identified sectors will be given some of the technical support or some of the guidance. How do you consider that? And then finally, government may give direct benefits, direct financial benefit to particular entity. That is called government grant. And then there are situations, specific technical support, that is called government assistance, right? Other infrastructure facilities and those supports, we can't consider as a benefit, right? There is scope out. As a common benefit, it was given by the government to the general public. So then this difference will be discussed under LKS 20, government grants, government assistance, and other benefits. Don't worry about that in detail with examples. By heart, we need to learn this. After completing government grants, you should know head and tail of government grants. That's the requirement. So after completing this, whatever the complex calculation related to agriculture, you should know each and every one, right? Each and every one. අවුරුත් මේ පන්ති අහන් හිටියේ නැහැ. අනිත් lectures අහන් හිටියේ නැහැ. ඒක කියලා කතා නැහැ. We are learning this corporate reporting because it's a core subject of the degree. If you are losing corporate reporting, no point to getting the degree. The PMICH, right? English and pass on. Pass EG के दान में देखो corporate reporting कर रहे हैं. So you are reading accounting degree. And if you are having a mark, they expect that question that entity. So then corporate reporting is to that. Then the post are the invest. It is a full effort taken and how much price करना नहीं लोग करेंगे. बाकी पट्टे का करता. We have a पट्टे का. तो कुछ का फाइल लाइव Next meeting, topic is the basic concept. You can go to basic concept. Today I discussed about we have three areas. We have set of standards and then consolidation. Financial statement analysis. At least you know these three areas. Under this subject, we have three areas. Right? So on the first, we have set of standards. Today we are discussing agriculture. The agriculture we have set of application. Likewise, you should have a plan on your head. Okay. So then we are discussing this as well. So the scope out areas. Land related to agricultural activity. So therefore, agricultural activity, they are using land. No, that land can't be. We can't consider that as this. We can't treat according to this standard. If it is a poultry farm, we are using a large land, right? If it is a paddy field, we are using a land. So that land should be accounted according to case 60. Keep in mind. So that you are going to measure, you are going to value a kind of a tea plantation. The value of the tea plantation should not be included the value of the land. That is very clear, right? That land should be valued according to case 16. That is scope out. And intangible asset related to agricultural activity. Intangible asset related to agricultural activity. Yes, we may have intangible asset factor. software we are using for measuring this agricultural performance of birds. So you may have kind of a meters, right? Softwares to measure that, right? So then whatever the measurement related software, whatever the intangible assets, you can't consider that as agricultural asset. It is under case 38, IS 38, tangible asset, right? Okay. Biological assets may be outside the scope of case code when they are not used in agricultural activity. Agricultural activity. So then, animals in a zoo. I discussed about this elephant in a telehandler. It's not an agricultural activity. We are using that animal for entertainment purpose. So that animal can't be used as a biological asset. It's not a biological asset. So then animals in a zoo, those animals we can't consider as a biological assets. Right? So then because we don't have type of a agricultural activity to control that asset. So then to have agricultural, the biological asset, so then behind that we need to have set of agricultural activities. Right? As a result of this agricultural activities, we need to control biological asset. Then only we can identify that as biological asset. So the animals in a zoo don't have agricultural activities. So then that's clear. That does not have active breeding program. We don't have an active breeding program, right? Just we are showcasing this animal to entertainment. That's it. We don't have kind of a design breeding program. Sometimes they may have kind of a vaccination program and giving treatments and giving foods to them. That is kind of a maintenance of that entertainment process. There's no agriculture. So the activities in pharmaceutical industry that involves a culture of bacteria, such activities should not fall within this scope of this one. So under this hospital industry, we are using these viruses, bacteria, and this type of things. We assume that they are having kind of a living part, right? We can scope in like a living animal. Standard clearly says that that part is scoped out from this, right? Because still we don't know it's an animal, right? We can't scope in. Because of that, we are going to scope out. We are going to scope out. It is not a asset එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Keep in mind, it's not a biological asset. We are discussing here biological asset. Yes, elephant in a zoo asset is kind of PP&E maybe. So, but the machine they can't. It's a machine they can't. Elephant can be a machine they can't. We need to treat it as a machine, right? Products that are results of processing after harvest. That's obvious. Whatever the products getting from the harvest, definitely it's an inventory. After changing, after adding value to that products, you can't consider that as agricultural produce. Right? So through grapes, you are getting grape wine. That wine you can't consider as agricultural produce. Right? From milk, you are getting cheese or yogurt. That yogurt you can't consider as agricultural produce. That's what is that? That's a production. That's a finished goods. That's under case too. Are you okay? Convert sugars into alcohol, cheese production. Right? So these are the scope out areas. So then if you can suggest some other areas, we can discuss. Sometimes there may be argument, can come to a conclusion. So then there are different situations. We can't have kind of a clear-cut answer. So then we need to go through the standards and refer that and justify that. Is that an agricultural produce? Is that a bare animal or consumable animal? How we can use this standard? Likewise, we have proper understanding about the terminologies in the standards to define this. Design scope in and scope out. Basically to identify the biological asset. So after identification, you can go to these definitions, right? Before you are going to definitions, better to understand that agricultural activity, that's the matter. To have a biological asset, behind that there should be a agricultural activity. Without that, you don't have a biological asset. To agriculture, series of agricultural activity, if you are having an asset, living animal or living plant, that can be considered as a biological asset. Then you can read what it means to you as a agricultural activity. Agricultural activity. As I said, is basically the management controlling the whole biological asset, lifespan, and the regeneration process. The kind of a growing process. It's a kind of a management process which was conducted by the company. Set of management taking decisions to control that biological asset, the size and the growth, and will be considered, right? Will be controlled. So you can read. Agricultural activity is the management by the entities of the biological transformation and harvest of biological assets for sale or conversion into agricultural produce or into additional biological assets. Capability to change, management of change, measurement of change. That's three things. Capability to change, management of change, measurement of change. These are agricultural activities. Basically, the process of changing, process of influencing to the process, the lifetime of the biological asset or biological agricultural asset or agricultural produce. Right? The word. I mean by this, agricultural produce or into additional biological asset. Into additional biological asset. Because of this management task, it will create the agricultural produce or additional biological asset. As a result of this management activity, you are getting another biological asset. What do you mean by that? So then, you have this glyceria stick, which was used by biogas, right? We have trees, we have sticks, glyceria. Glyceria වලට තව කියන නමක් මොනවද? අකුලත කියලා කියනවා. වැටමාර කියලා මොන නම? ඒ අර කොළ තමයි අර අපි මතයේ තියෙන අර සද්දයක් කියන්නේ. කොංගාර සද්දයක් කියන්නේ. ඒක දැකලා නැති කට්ටිය පෙන්නන්න කියනවා වැටමාර කියලා જાතියක් තියෙනවා. So that trees can be used for biogas purpose, right? Biogas purpose. So then we can generate electricity by using these sticks. So then what they are doing is they have these trees and they are cultivating these trees here and there, and they are managing these trees. So what they are doing is, after having this kind of a tree, they are getting sticks, right? So then long run, more than 1 year period, they are getting sticks. They are not going to cut down this tree. Why? They are expecting to use this tree more than 1 year. So then they are expecting some more sticks in future. And then again, what they are doing is, some of the sticks, they cut down this stick and then again they plant it. I am getting what I am telling you. The stick can be planted again. If you are going to plant it again, you can get another tree. So then this is the definition. So then sale or conversion into agricultural produce or additional biological asset. So then some of the trees you are going to convert to agricultural produce. Some of the sticks you are going to convert to a additional biological asset. Okay. So is that very clear, right? So the position එක ඉස්සරහා decide වෙන්නේ මේවා decision ගන්න එක position එක activity. Then you need to careful about the definitions in this sentence. ඔයා මෙතන තියෙන එක වචනයක් හරි මිස් වෙනවා නම් කියන්න ඕනේ. සර් මෙන්න මේක මොකද්ද? සමහර ඒවා මට එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්න අමාරු ඒවා මිස් කරනවා දැක්කේ නේ. Why not sir, I can't understand this. So then after having this basic discussion, you should have thousands of questions. So then that is among internal මොකක්ද? මේක biological asset එකක්. හරි. මේක they are asset plant එකක්. Consumable plant එකක්. මනුස්සයෙක් දැක්කම හිතන්නේවා. මේක biological asset there is no agricultural activity. එතකොට මිනිස්සු එකත් අහන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් company එක employees the biological asset එකක්ද? No, that is not. So the family එක ඉන්න ළමයි biological asset එකක්ද? It is not. There is no agricultural activity. මම ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇහුවා. So likewise you can question from this standard. සමහරවිට උත්තරයක් නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මට උත්තරයක් නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Then we will discuss this. So then you should ask a question. Okay. Agricultural produce is the harvested product of entities' biological assets. Agricultural produce is the harvested product of entities' biological assets. Agricultural produce means the outcome you are getting from agricultural biological assets. Okay. They are a plant. I have already discussed. Go through that features. That's the plant we are using for long-term perspective. More than 1 year we are using for getting harvest. We are getting agricultural produce more than one period. Again, may definition එකට මොනවද වැටෙන්නේ? Mango tree, coconut tree, jackfruit, all those things we can put here as a bearer plant. Has remote livelihood of being sold as agricultural produce except for incidental scrap sales. What's the meaning of third one? Ekat එක කියවන්න. Bearer plant has remote livelihood of being sold as agricultural produce. Plant එක agricultural produce එකක් විදිහට විකුණන්න it's a rare chance. Right? Other than the step value. I'll get you what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, at the end of the tenure of the lifespan of a mango tree, you are selling bearer plant for firewood. That's okay. That's a step value. Other than that, the plant can't be sold as agricultural produce. That's the meaning of that one, right? You need to read carefully. That's why I told you. You are dealing with the standard. Not like what you think, right? Following are not bearer plants. They are bearer plants. What are they? Plants cultivated to be harvested as agricultural produce. The plants cultivated to be harvested as agricultural produce. Simple, right? අපි plant එකක් මේ expect කරන්නේ agricultural produce එකක් විදියට it's not a bearer plant. So then whatever the corn, paddy, sugarcane, all those things consider as this pineapple trees. Pineapple trees can we get more fruits in long run? One plant, only one fruit, right? One pineapple fruit we can get from one plant. So after that lifespan, all the plant will be considered as kind of a scrap value. But in the short run, you will remove all the plants from the ground. Right? So then that is considered as a consumable plant, not a bearer plant. Plants cultivated produce agricultural produce when there is more than a remote livelihood. Same thing. So annual crops. Annual crops we can't consider as they are a plant. These are the content we are using in the standard. Content in the standard, right? You can read through these things. So then these are the words I have extracted from the standard. So then you can slowly go through the standard and you can read some of the articles related to this standard. So then this is the point you need to start your learning curve about agricultural aspect. Then only you can enhance your knowledge. Otherwise, if you depend on just the things we are discussing here, may not be enough. So then here we have a set of definitions. Biological asset. We have already discussed. Biological transformation. That's important. Biological transformation. So then, as at the balance sheet date, that transformation process may be going on. The cutoff date also we may have transformation process. Cutoff point එකේ bird කෙනෙක් egg lay කරන ගමන් වෙන්න තියෙන්නේ. Then cutoff point එකේ සේරම දාපු eggs agriculture produce වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Then need to be very careful about the biological transformation. මොන හරි farm එකක් කරනවා නම් if you are having parent birds, so parent birds may be used for the getting whatever the other birds, right? Let's say the bird farm or some other farm, you are keeping parent birds to get small ones. So then day old chicks. So then at the reporting date, the biological transformation process is going on. We can't say that, hello, we have the cutoff date here in the pure biological transformation, right? We can't say that. They don't know about the reporting date or year end. They do their transformation, biological transformation. But it's all about, it may be growth, degeneration, production, procreation, and both qualitative or quantitative changes in the biological asset. Whatever the changes happen in the biological asset will be considered as biological transformation. It may be growth, production, procreation, degeneration. So then degeneration. So then they generate some other birds, some other next generation, right? You can see a growth. So then at the 1 week bird, small bird, right? After 20 weeks, we have a mature bird, kind of a big bird in a cage. Small birds, mature bird. It's a kind of a transformation process. You can see a growth. That's growth, that change we consider as a biological transformation. Biological transformation. So whatever the field, let's say you are having tea plantation. What you have to do is you are preparing the ground and we are putting tea plants. After 1 month time, you can see a growth from that trees, right? So that growth you can consider as a biological transformation. That biological transformation should be controlled by the management. That is called by agricultural activity. Through agricultural activity, you should control this biological transformation. So then, for kind of a tea plantation, tea plant එකක් ගොඩාක් හැදුනොත් ලොකු කහක් වෙනවා. ලොකු කහක් වෙයි. ඒකට එයාලා මේ පොඩි විදියට කියන්නේ මොකද? So it's very easy to pluck that tea harvest, right? So then it's a kind of a control. The growth should be controlled by the management perspective. That is called a agricultural activity. Because of agricultural activity, this transformation journey may be controlled. Growth may be controlled, right? So the different flavors. So then for different flavors, we need different tea plant. The kind of a types of tea. So down south tea, hill country tea, totally different the taste. And then the fertilizer we are putting. Accordingly, we can change the taste of the tea plant. So all those things we can consider as a biological transformation and agricultural activity. As a result of agricultural activity, can see kind of a transformation in the biological asset. That is called biological transformation. If I am asking examples, some of the examples for biological transformations in the exam should be able to mention with examples. And then cost to sell. Cost to sell. Harvest. a group of biological assets. Cost to sell, the definition in the standard, it's a common concept. They are always discussing about cost to sell, fair value less cost to sell. I mean by that. So whatever the biological asset, if you want to sell it, what are the additional costs you need to pay? That's called cost to sell. And there is the meaning, right? Cost to sell are the incremental cost directly attributed to the disposal of asset, including finance costs and cost to sell. So then it may be very clear. According to the standard, measurement basis may be depend on cost to sell. Right? You'll see what is the measurement basis. It is suggested by case 41 for agricultural produce, consumable plant, consumable animal, and bare animal. It may be depend on cost to sell. That's why they have defined here cost to sell, right? A group of biological assets is an aggregation of similar living animals or plants. A group of biological assets. It's a kind of a team, a group, a bunch of agricultural assets, right? Similar living animals or plants. Examples: the birds in a cage, or the plants in a tea state. Can consider as a group of biological assets. Harvest. Harvest the process of getting outcome from the biological assets, called detachment. Yes, that's a word. Detachment of the agricultural produce from the biological asset. The process of separating agricultural produce from the biological asset. In tea plantation, plucking teas, and then in kind of a milk manufacturing industry, getting milk from cow. So that is the harvesting process. Harvesting means getting, resulting, or whatever the process of getting outcome from the biological asset. That is called harvest. It's called harvest. Right. Here we have the biological asset. This is the agricultural produce. The product. This is their case. Can identify what are the biological assets, agricultural produce, products arising due to processing after harvest. These are the inventory, finished goods, right? This area you can't consider as biological asset or agricultural produce. You mind, that's really important. Tobacco plant. Tobacco plant. Our plant here on it. Illegal operation. As a accountant, you need to take that. Is that legally to capitalize that as asset? Legally permissible. Yeah. The legal. Any doubts? So then, matter is agricultural produce. The stage may be very, the lifespan may be very short. Sometimes in the balance sheet, agricultural produce may not be there because after harvesting, this result, outcome may be immediately used for production purpose. Then, this stage may not be at the reporting stage. So then agricultural produce may not be in the books mostly. That may represent as inventory. That's a practical scenario, right? Then recognition. We know the definition now. The standard we discuss about definition, recognition, and measurement plus the disclosure. That's the basic of the standard, right? Always discuss about definitions, recognition, and the measurement and the disclosure. One of the standard okay. There's a government grant definition okay. And then recognize okay. How we are going to measure that? Okay. According to the measurement, how we are going to disclose that? Simple. ඒ හතරක් කියලා නේද? ඒ හතරක් කියන්නේ ඒ wගේ. Standard. Set of definition. Let's say cash flow. You can remember, right? Cash and cash equivalent. Investment activity. We had definition. In LKS2, LKS16, we have set of definition. Cost, net book value, residual value, useful life value. We have set of definition. And then recognition. As a PP and E, what are the criteria to fulfill recognition? And then how we going to measure? Clearly, fair value model law, cost models. PP and E තියාගන්න පුළුවන්. Evaluation model law, cost model. That's a measurement. So then, how are we going to disclose that? If you are using revaluation model, whatever the revaluation gain or loss should be categorized under other comprehensive income, not classified to P&L. Right? The measurement basis. Likewise, each and every standard, we follow the same structure. Entity shall recognize a biological asset or agricultural produce within the scope of LKS 41 only when same things under asset. It controls the asset as a result of past event. Simple. The asset should be controlled by the entity. And then it's probable that future economic benefits associated with the asset will flow to the entity. The fair value of cost of asset can be measured reliably. Same asset features should be considered for recognition, right? Control in agricultural activity, an entity may evidence control by, for example, legal ownership of cattle and the branding or otherwise making of the cattle on acquisition worth or value. Right? So the control, the bigger area need to be done. Which type of a control you need to have? That's a control on biological transformation through agricultural activity. Through agricultural activity, you need to control the biological transformation. that control should be there to identify a biological asset. Any doubts on this? As a past event, yes. Probable that future economic benefits associated with the set of cash are close to the ending. Simple. The fair value or cost of the asset can be measured reliably. I did the Y bar charted final. So we have a Y bar. So I did the Y bar by using this standard. See that now. ඒක නිසා තමයි මේ කියන අමාරු ස්ටෑන්ඩ් එකකින් කරන්න ඕන කියලා ඒක. එහෙම කළාම තමයි මේ අයිව බෝඩ් එකක් ඇදෙන්න දෙන්න ඕන. දැන් ඒ phase 2 එකකින් 16 එකකින් හැමදාම බොරු හදන්න ඕන කට්ටිය නේ. මම කරේ මෙන්න මෙතන. control කියන්නේ. Whether we can control the asset or not. Whether we can control the asset or not. So I had a company that is called a company. It's a plantation company. They do plant this glyceria plant. Right? Glyceria plant, their purpose is to supply that to a biomass perspective. Right? So then what they do is they have own farms, own lands to grow glyceria plants. Right? Whatever the plants on their lands, they have definitely identified that as asset in their books. That's pretty straightforward. They have identified, no issue on that. Then again, the land they have is not enough because that biomass production, they ask much of supply. What they do is, the land is not enough. What they are doing is, they have kind of outgrow model. Then what they have done is, they have taken some other lands from outside farmers. They have kind of a contract between them and the company to grow glyceria plants around their whatever the paddy or whatever the ground, right? They do their own cultivation around the paddy or like a fence. They are using these glyceria plants, right? So the question is, so then whatever the sticks and fertilizer and advisors, all the cost will be incurred by the company to that outside farmers. Understood what I'm telling? So we have a company, we have outside farmers, right? So we have given instruction, fertilizer, sticks, everything to outside farmers. They do cultivate glyceria plants around their garden or paddy, and they are supplying these sticks to the company. We have incurred some cost. Once you are incurring a cost, what's the double entry? Cash credit, debit to a whatever the asset, right? So then that asset amount, they have parked in the balance sheet as a material advance amount. Like 50 million advance given to whom? Advance given to outside farmers as an instruction, fertilizer, sticks. They have provided that, right? So then my argument is, can we consider that as an advance under current asset? Or do we need to consider that advance amount as a non-current where biological asset? Why? That advance reflects our plant in their garden, in their whatever the ground, right? They have their own farms, but there's a plant on behalf of this advance, right? Are you okay? Because of this advance, we have set of farms outside our organization. So then, that plants we consider as advance amount. Then again, there's a question. We have plants, but the land is not in our ownership. Can we consider that as an asset? ඒ කියන්නේ අනුන්ගේ වත්තේ තියෙන දස් අපේ බුක්ස් වල asset විදියට පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන්ද? outside farmers lagi මේ මොනවද garden එක වටේ තියෙන ගස් set එක අපේ books වල මෙයාට biological asset එකක් විදිහට පෙන්නනවා. That's the question. Yes, we can do that. Why? We have an agreement. They can't sell that sticks to outsiders. We have a fixed price. Then that total asset will be controlled by the company. The controlling power of the outside assets plants with the company. Because of that, we can justify that as a biological asset in the books. All the agricultural activities behind that plant will be controlled by the particular entity. Then that company can categorize that biological asset in the books as a bearer plant, the biological asset. Right. So that was the definition. So that type of conclusion, technical papers maybe came into the picture after having this type of a practical knowledge. That's your role. පස්සේ ඒක නිසා රීස්ටේට් කරන්නත් උනා. consolidation. ඒ group එකේ රීස්ටේට් last year එකේ advance year. ඒකට මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? advance එක ගලවලා මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ? asset එකක් විදිහට කරන්න. comparatively. So then those type of decisions can be taken if you can sharp with the theoretical aspect of the standard. Right. That's all about recognition of biological asset. Then measurement of biological asset. Valueless cost to sell. Valueless cost to sell. Valueless cost to sell. And then a very engineering. That yeah, number one corporate reporting class again interval. No interval. Corporate reporting interval around the back. අමානුෂීය සටනක් ගන්න. ඔඩිට් කරපු සර්නේ ඒක ඔපරේට් රිපෝට් එක. ඔයාලට මේක human right එකක් නෙනේ. බස් එකේ highway බස් එකේ යන පුළුවන් කොස්ට්‍රූම් ගන්න පිළිමේ කට්ටිය. බස් එක නවත්තනවා. Human right එක. ඔයාලට වතුර කොන්න ඕන නම් ඊළඟ So audit you can repeat day by day. So then after completing biological assay, this is the first and last time we are discussing this, right? We can do kind of a recap next day. Once you are doing, if you have a time, you can do a revision. At that time will be discussed. Otherwise, if you miss the bus, that's closed, right? Each and every topic, that's the last train in the last box somewhere. So you have to be in the class, hybrid form, the mind, right? Vanika surgery balagina and agina room preparation there. We take the end of the money. Because the agony very good. Because Amal Karan, Karan Karan. So then it will give you a value, right? So then the corporate reporting again and again essential. So then there's art of a language. If you want to sell yourself, if you want to customize yourself as interview candidates, then what you have to do is you need to sell your knowledge on accounting. The art of it's a language of the language. So then you need to explain all those things. Let's say it's an audit committee. So whatever the program, board of management, they may ask thousands of questions. So then some of the trees you consider as biological assets, some of the trees consumable assets, but different standards should have different logics, the reasons and measurement basis. You should have capability to explain all those. That's your role, right? So then here we are discussing how we are going to measure that. We know that definition, recognition, and now measurement. What are the assets? We have a set of assets. What are the biological assets? What is the agricultural produce? We know that now definition. And then recognition. To recognize that, we should have this set of criteria. After recognition, another step is there. After recognition, we are supposed to mark that in the books. To mark that in the books, to disclose that in the books, we have a value. To getting the process of getting that value, we consider as a measurement. Right? That's called fair value less cost to sell. Fair value less cost to sell. Cost to sell, we have already known. We අග්ගාර කරලා අන්තිමට ඉන්ටර්වල් එක ගන්න. Right? Fair value less cost to sell. The question. For this, we have to use a different standard. That as 30 fair value standard. How we are going to get the fair value? Fair value. Fair value means previously, before select price 13, we call that as the arm's length price between two parties in the transaction. Arm's length price. So we wanted to identify the arm's length price. So we had a doubt that what's the distance of arm's length. was a kind of a very vague definition. Because of that, the SLFRS 13 gave a fair definition for fair value. So that's the kind of a a very detailed definition. So then fair value is the value we can use in a transaction in between market participants at a transaction date. What's the transferable value for a transaction? So that value can be measured by using different methods. According to SLFRS 13, we have different techniques. If we have active market, we can use that market value. That is called level 1 valuation. If you don't have active market, what we have to do? We have to use whatever the similar asset active market. If you don't have similar asset, then what we can do is we can use kind of a cash flow model to value the asset. And if you are having cash flow model, that is called level 3 valuation. Cash flow model means we are evaluating future economic benefits, future cash flows to be present value by using interest rate, and that value considered as a fair value. Then again, once you are having that type of a model, we may have many unobservable inputs. Because of that, we consider that as a level 3 valuation. Here and there. That's all about SLFRS 13. Discuss that later, right? We discuss. Don't worry. SLFRS 13 is really important standard. How we are going to measure fair value. You know that we have set of standards relates to specific asset, specific liability. Some of these standards we are having common standard. LK 16 for PP&E, 41 for biological asset, 2 for inventory. So we have a specific area, right? But SLFRS 13 for fair valuation. Whatever the standards it requires to do fair valuation, you have to refer to SLFRS 13. That's a common standard for each and every area. So then SLFRS 13 is an essential standard you should learn by heart. Whatever the criteria, definition, the inputs, levels, markets. So then each and every aspect you should know. Right? So then once you are reading SLFRS 13, definitely you can be expert on fair valuation. If you want to do that in next week, if you do it in today, you can do it. It will take time, right? But you should know, we can learn that in by heart in the kind of a different approach. By using a different approach, you can use that standard. So then whatever the area you are touching, it's a very useful standard. SLFRS 13. So today you can search from YouTube and you can go through some insights and YouTube videos. You can learn that. And with that knowledge, you can come to the lecture. You can ask any question from me. Examples. Now you know the guidance. So fair value. And then cost to sales, we discuss. Once you are selling something, we need to insert the cost. So then these are the examples. To sell that asset, you have to do commission, related levies, and different taxes. Those should be deducted from the fair value. Fair value less cost to sell, right? Fair value less cost to sell. So then here we have summarized how we can get this fair value. And active market exit, as I said, if there's active market, how we can get it? You can easily get the quoted price to the identical asset, that particular asset. No active market. Active market is a factor. What you have to do? Market determined price or values. Counted cash flow. Cost as fraction of the fair value. Cost approximation. That's really important. What is that? We are getting the assumption that cost equal to fair value. That's the management assumption. You need to mention that. You need to justify that. Incurred cost equal to fair value. So these are the three types of, four mechanism you can get the value. Then make a බලාගෙන හිටියොත් තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. process එකේම ඉන්නවා. අපි ඉගෙන ගන්න මොනවද මේ? අපි ඉන්නේ corporate reporting class එකේ. මෙතන ඉඳලා corporate එකේ. Corporate reporting subject එක. So for this subject we have three areas. Under these three areas, first one, different accounting standards. Under different accounting standard, we have agricultural standard. Agricultural standard, we had definitions. Under definition, we learned about biological asset and agricultural produce. And biological assets, living animal or plant. Agricultural produce is the outcome we are getting from the biological assets. Harvest means the reattachment process of agricultural produce from the biological asset. We know that definition, right? And then recognition. Yes, we have set of assets here and there. To recognize that, we should have the control. We should have the future economic benefit. That future economic benefit should be controlled by the entity. If it is so, that entity can identify that as asset in their books. That's simple. And to identify asset in their books, we should have a value. To get that value, we have to use fair value less cost to sell. To get that fair value, we have four different methods. This process එක විරෝධ දාගන්න පුළුවන් නේ. දාගන්න ඕන. දැන් මොනකට යන්න නැත්නම් ගෙදර ගිහින් දාන්න. නැත්නම් යාළුවන්ට ආයි කියන්න කියලා හරි. සමහරවිට කියන්නේ ඔළුවට යන්න යාළුවෝ කියන එක තමයි ඔළුවට යනවා බලන්න. එතකොට යාළුවෝ කියනවා කියන්නේ. ඒකට තේරුම් දෙන්න. සරල කියනවා එනෝ රහත් නැහැ කියන්නේ. හොඳ යාළුවෝ කියනවා හොඳයි. ඔව්. For the bear plant, annual decision, we are not people are perspective. We are getting that we are having that perspective. So let's say find a plantation. Let's say it will get 2 years. That's not the case, right? Imagine whatever things will take 2 years to get planted. Why? After getting the fruits, what is one time? one time outcome. The deeper plantation one time. Upon that, you consider that as immature plant. At the mature stage, we are getting the outcome of the outcome. I should not have a machine. Machine is there. Like machine, we have a machine. We are thinking 8 minutes. After coming to the machine, that's how you that's why. You are developing the building at the first stage. However, capitalize that as WIP. It's not really after WIP you are translating. That WIP also be categorized as non-current assets. Non-current assets. Again, you are growing kind of a managed plantation. And for plantation, it will take like 3-4 years to get it planted. The plantation stage, immature stage, you can consider that as a immature bamboo plantation. It's a bearer balance under immature plantation with the expectation of long run. After having this, we expect also 7 years. Because of that, we consider that as the cash return then your friends asking questions. Let's say we are having kind of a timber plantation like tea or have rubber plantation or say rubber obviously they are a plant. Let's say this tea plantation, what's that other firewood? So this jack trees complex. Right? Jack trees we can use for fruit purpose or furniture purpose. Right? Two different perspectives. Very complex. So then, after having jack tree, at the point of removing that, we can earn. It's not the scrap value. It's a material value we are getting from jack tree. So it's a bearer. We consider normally we consider as a bearer plant. Sometimes you can consider that as a consumable plant as well. We are not using that My point is, the question from the audience is, if we are having kind of a tea plantation, right? So then, to have kind of a matured plant, it will take 5 years. It will take 5 years, right? To mature jack tree, it can use for furniture purpose, furniture preparation purpose. It will take much time. So then, the whole objective of teak tree, that's the objective to get this uh, tree for furniture manufacturing or whatever the firewood purpose. Right? Firewood, we are using some other trees. The trees are there. So then that tree is used for purely for the firewood purpose. Cinnamon, we have dual purpose. Cinnamon, yes. Cinnamon trees, yes, is a consumable. After cutting the tree, are we getting other plants? No, no. We have to cultivate again. People who are having cinnamon cultivations. So then, likewise, we can discuss. Point is, if we are having kind of a, let's say, firewood purpose, we are keeping kind of a plantation. Firewood purpose, only the firewood purpose, right? So then, to have that harvest, we have to keep like 5 years. Question is, still can we consider that as consumable plant or bearer plant? It's a consumable plant. Why? Annually, we don't have crops. We are keeping that as at the point of harvesting point. Harvest is what? That's the firewood. So after getting one harvest, we have to eradicate the plant. We have to remove whole plant. So the future crops we are not expecting. So the one-time crops, it's a consumable biological asset. At that period, the second question, at that period, how can we consider? Is that a current asset or non-current asset? Yes, it's a non-current asset. Why? It is at the point of planting to the maturity stage. At that period, we can consider that as an immature plantation. Immature plantation. Right? Immature plantation, it's a consumable biological asset. Other doubts, you can ask. Right? You can ask. So then, here we have a very practical. Okay. We have different methods to do the fair value. Definitely, you don't have active market here. We are having active market for what? Only shares here. Right? Only Colombo stock market is the active market. So, daughter matak වෙනවනේ නෑනේ අපේ පොළත් active market එකක්. නේද? ඉරිදා පොළනේ. පොළවත් ගොඩක් නේ. penny market. market. active market නේ. So, ඒවා active market නෙවෙයිද? ඒ question එක අහන්න ඕනවා. තියෙන active market. The active marketing value එක ගන්න නම් හරියි. No, those are not active markets. Active markets should be there. So then there should be a displayed price for identical asset. So then 24 hours it should be available. So then any buyer and seller should actively participate for trading. Right? So then only identical active market is Colombo Stock Exchange. Other than that, we don't have active market. Right? That active market, we have that fair value. The transaction price will be decided based on the demand and supply. So that is called active market. Right? Features of active market, you can search. There are features. So then, Colombo Stock Exchange is the only market is complying with that features. So, searching the price for some other